Hello Wargamers. Today I want to do the first in a series of videos looking at how this codex, the 7th edition Tau Empire Codex, differs from its drastically different 6th edition version. Now if you didn't pick that up, that was a little bit of sarcasm. There's not a ton of differences. Most units haven't been changed, but there are some important changes that influence which units you might want to take within each force organization slot. And so that's what this series of videos is going to be looking at. At the HQ, Elite, Troop, Fast Attack, Heavy Support, and Lord of War level, which options are you most likely to want to take and why? And then I'll do other videos looking at particular units, notably Crisis Suits, Ghost Keel, Storm Surges, and things like that. But for now, we're just looking at the FOC level, the Force Organization Chart level. Because there are some minor changes that are going to be important to you. And so this video is going to be looking at HQ units, but if you want to stay up to date on when the videos for other FOC levels are released or when unit-specific reviews are released, subscribing is a great way to do that. And of course, if you want to let me know what you think, I encourage you to comment in the comment section below. So let's get started with HQ units. Unlike most other groups of units in the Codex, HQs are probably most impacted by the Coordinated Fire Special Rule, which is granted by the Hunter Contingent Formation. Now, if you're not familiar with the Hunter Contingent Formation, it's a formation that allows you to take a bunch of different stuff. It's the Tau version of the Decurion for Necrons. And if 3 of those units fire at the same target or more, they get to resolve their shots as if they were a single unit. And this includes the use of marker lights. Now there's some debate as to what that actually means. Does it mean that they count as a unit for that turn, or does it just mean that their shots are pooled and resolved in terms of hitting and wounds at one time, but they don't actually count as a single unit? And so the debate on this really influences how you might build your army in terms of overall strategy, but also specifically which HQ units you might want to take. Now, if you are of the persuasion that this rule allows special rules to be shared between units because they count as a single unit, then you might want to take more HQ units that provide special rules across your army. There's a lot of synergy to be gained by incorporating more and more special rules that would spread across, potentially your whole army. So that's one option. But if you don't believe that, if you think that it only applies to marker lights and the sequence in which you roll dice, then your choices are going to be much more traditional. They're going to be a lot more like the 6th edition Codex. But so that's an important caveat or disclaimer when we're talking about this. And yeah, so we will talk about the Hunter Contingent specifically in later videos, but for now, just keep that in mind, that if you think that coordinating firepower allows you to share special rules, you should get some special rules in your list. If you don't think that, then don't worry about it as much. Think about more in the direct context of what units that independent character would be with, and not across your whole army. But overall, there hasn't been a lot of changes to the HQ units. The commander has the option now to take the Cold Star Battlesuit, which basically makes him a flying monstrous creature minus all the special rules that flying monstrous creatures get. So it's basically just a movement thing. And the role of the Cold Star Battlesuit is not particularly clear why you would want to take this. It doesn't necessarily fit in with the strategy of the rest of the army. So that's kind of a superficially weak choice at this time. That might change depending on how the meta evolves and how people kind of explore the codex with time. The second entry in the HQ slot is the Ethereal. A couple things changed for him. Particularly, he can now take Recon Armor, which gives him a 5-up save as opposed to no save previously. And that is a vast improvement. It's still going to be relatively easy to penetrate, and he's only toughness 3, so he's not long for this world if people are gunning for him, but it's better than nothing, and for 5 points it's probably something you want to consider. The hover drone option basically just allows him to move around a little bit better, and I don't see a clear reason why you would want to spend points on that, because I've never had a situation where my Ethereal has died and I've been like, oh man, I wish he could have moved a couple more inches. That really would have saved him. No, it's, oh, I wish he had a 2-up save with a 3-up invulnerable and feel no pain and stealth and shrouded. That would have been great. So if he was indestructible, that'd be one thing, but movement really isn't something that really plays into Ethereal's weaknesses right now. Commander Farsight and Shadow Sun, they are pretty much unchanged. One thing that is important to know about Farsight, though, is that he no longer is unique in being able to provide a large bodyguard squad. It used to be in the old codex that he could take a unit of many crisis suits and deep strike in with them, and they could be his bodyguard unit, and that was something special for him. However, that is no longer unique to him. You can take a bodyguard unit of equal size, up to 9, up to 9 just on their own. It's also not linked to having to take a commander at all. In the previous codex, you used to have to take a commander in order to take a bodyguard squad. Now you no longer have to do that. However, crisis bodyguards do take an elite slot now, as opposed to not taking up a force organization slot in the past. So that we can explore more in the elites video as how you might want to use those crisis bodyguards. But for Farsight himself, that does make him a little bit less appealing. It's not something that he doesn't bring that uniquely to the table anymore. But other than that, he's still the same. Unfortunately, he didn't get any type of cool upgrade to the Dawn Blade. It's not like the Dawn Blade is strength D or anything, which would have been cool, but not necessarily in line with the Tau fluff. So that's fine. Shadow Sun is the same as well. aun'shi, aun'va, same. Fireblade is the same as is Darkstrider. And so really what it comes down to is how you are going to interpret that Hunter contingent rule if you're using the Hunter contingent formation at all, but you probably are, because it's a really awesome formation. So, I think overall, the big differences between how you're going to use this codex in terms of your HQs and how you use the last codex are going to be based on that formation. But let's take the conservative approach, the approach that seems to be being used currently with the ITC, in assuming that special rules don't transfer through coordinated firepower. And if that's the case, you're probably still going to want to just take a buff commander and maybe an Ethereal, as you did with the last codex. You're probably not going to want to take the Cold Star Battlesuit. You probably are going to want to put Recon armor on your Ethereal. But other than that, there's not a lot of appeal to the other HQs unless you're trying to do something specialized with Shadow Sun. She does have some synergy with other units now, particularly with some of the other formations, but overall you're not going to really going to want to stray from the staples of the commander and Ethereal that you got to know and love with the last codex. Yeah, so that's kind of it, I guess, for the HQ units. Not a lot changed except for those few things, and you're probably going to want to take mostly the same stuff. So let me know what you guys think in the comments below, and of course, thanks for watching and happy wargaming.